One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is
all right. Let's stop there right there. Peace and blessings, everybody. Good morning. It's your boy Jay Taylor, Voices for the Voiceless. Peace and blessings. Hope everybody is having a great Thursday morning. Man, I wanted to play that clip. Shout out to Barry Cunningham. I love that intro because we have to keep in mind how far we've came in this fight. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we need to be reminded. And I thought that would serve as a great reminder of everything that has been sacrificed to get to this point that we are now. You know, and as the title says, it's time to move on from the Epstein's list. Let it go. You know, it's causing a great divide. And to be honest, yeah, Donald Trump and the administration, they fumbled. I get it. But how long are we going to sit here and dwell on it and cause this divide when we got way bigger fish to fry? You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole MAGA movement has been at a standstill talking about this Epstein's list when we got a lot going on. Just think back to all the stuff this man been through, being washed and rinsed through the judicial system, being almost assassinated several times to become the president, get in office, do everything he said he was going to do, secure the border. You got ICE agents out here, you know what I'm saying, doing what they got to do, getting all this funded from other nations, billions of dollars being implemented, just signed a big, beautiful bill, you know what I'm saying, out here causing ceasefires across the world. And now, you know, I could go on. And now, since this Epstein list, this fumble, you know, you got a lot of people that support Donald Trump. I get it. You got a right to be mad. But at some point, are we going to continue to hang our hat on this? We might not ever get that list. That's just the reality of it. I know people are devastated. A lot of people, I never cared. You know what I'm saying? But I empathize with people that were looking forward to it because Trump and the administration did fumble. But at some point, bro, we got to let it go. You know, and we're going to get into some, because we got bigger fish to fry, man. We just do. You know, we got people to wake up that still sleep. They still out here, you know, running with the Democrats. You know what I'm saying? We got work to do, bro. You know? And before we get deep into it, I must, as always, read this disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right, so we got that out the way. But yeah, like I was saying, man, we got a lot to talk about this morning. As you know, they've been calling Trump out on this, and I get it. I love MAGA for calling them out on the fumble. But now it's been almost a full 7 days of nonstop criticism over this one particular issue when he has delivered on everything else. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, the big beautiful bill. I mean, where have we seen an administration moving this quickly and this effectively? You know, and I like Pam Bondi. You know what I'm saying? She doing so many other things that are being overshadowed, you know what I'm saying, due to this Epstein list thing. And I get it. People have a right to be upset. And then Trump lashing out, you know, I feel like it's out of frustration for everything else he got going on. This man dealing with stopping wars overseas. He on the phone with Vladimir Putin, and Vladimir Zelensky's trying to stop the Russia-Ukraine war. And then we got people sitting up here hanging their hat on Jeffrey Epstein, a list that may not even exist. Just think about it. What criminal, pedo, child pedo would sit there and document all of their criminal behavior? It doesn't even make sense. And have a list just sitting there waiting for it to be revealed with all these important people on it that's in the government, that's in other countries. It may not even exist. I doubt that if it did exist, it still would be accessible. If it is accessible, it's probably been compromised. So you got to be careful before you put that out, or it might implicate people that really are innocent. You cannot convince me that a document such as that would exist. Pam Bondi did fumble and say some things. He said the file is on my desk. People took that and ran with it. Oh yeah, we about to. But see, I never really, got deep off into that. I want to make sure that this economy bounces back. I want to make sure that we get illegal immigration under control, and that we have national security. These are the things that we have to get back to. We spent enough time sitting here going back and forth about nonsense. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, let's just go over some of the stuff that's been going on. You know what I'm saying? How it's been just a crash out, man, for the past week, nonstop. Let's go.
This morning, President Trump facing unprecedented criticism from some of his biggest supporters.
This has been the first fracture and MAGA.
Over the Justice Department's handling of files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. For days, many on the right have been criticizing Attorney General Pam Bondi's decision not to release the files, but now high-profile figures, including House Speaker Mike Johnson, weighing in.
It's a very delicate subject, but we should put everything out there and let the people decide it.
And podcaster Joe Rogan, an influential Trump ally in the last election, mocking the administration's response.
Like, look, where's the Epstein files? Boo, can't find them. Don't exist. Like, they can get away with man.
Oh, yeah. Bondi has said there are Epstein files, but concluded Epstein did not leave behind an incriminating client list and that he died by suicide in 2019 while.
Now, I could believe half of that. I could believe that he did not leave behind no incriminating list. But I do not, you cannot pay me to believe that this man killed himself in prison. In a suicide watch prison. They make sure you don't have anything accessible to kill yourself with. Unalive, I'm sorry. They got everything like suicide proof. Because he was on suicide watch. So how did he take his own life with nothing in the cell to do so? So that right there lets you know it's some salt in the game. It's some BS in the game right there because you in a suicidal watch dormitory. That's what you there for. So, and then they got all these different camera angles. And instead of Trump just saying, like, look, man, all the evidence we got, I know we spoke prematurely, but the stuff that we have, it just ain't that what we thought it would be. You know?
While awaiting trial, contradicting right-wing conspiracy theories that he was murdered. Rogan criticizing Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel.
Kash Patel said there's nothing you're looking for. Oh, okay.
For his part, President Trump dismissing the interest.
He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is.
And after his daughter-in-law said there needs to be more transparency, I asked the president about her comment.
Do you agree with her, sir? The attorney general's handled that very well.
He has stood by Bondi's judgment.
Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release.
Trump, like many celebrities, was seen with Epstein in the 90s, but later said they had a falling out. And by the time Epstein was arrested, that he had not spoken to him in 15 years.
15 years. Now, remember the last time we talked about this? I told y'all that they had a falling out at that party. The left-wing media don't mention that part. You know what I'm saying? That they actually had a falling out and hadn't spoken for 15 years. So the likability, the ability to think that this man was doing anything nefarious, anything prior to the 1990s or after, I should say. If you don't have anything from the early 1990s in the 80s and all that, then, you know, it was a wrap. They wasn't tight like they be trying to make it seem like. You know what I'm saying?
Asked about Bondi's review.
Did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No. She's given us just a very quick briefing. And in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen.
The Attorney General yesterday deflecting questions about the controversy, but asked about those calling for change at the Justice Department.
I'm going to be here for as long as the president wants me here.
House Speaker Mike Johnson also signaled he'd support having Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell testify before Congress, saying he's for transparency. Maxwell is serving 20 years in prison for conspiring with Epstein. Her family is now speaking out, arguing she did not receive a fair trial and hoping the Supreme Court will hear her appeal. Savannah?
Gabe Gutierrez leading us off from the White House. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can.
All right. So we got the gist of that, man. It's a big divide going on within the MAGA movement. And that's very unfortunate because, listen, man, like the beginning of this tape, this video. We came way too far to be so divided right now over this issue. Jeffrey Epstein ain't gonna change our life one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? If it exists, if it don't exist, of course, transparency I would be in favor of. But if we don't get it, like, how is that really going to affect your life? You feel me? We wasting too much time after a week of this. Trump know how the people feel. Trump is very, you know, I would have to say this. He is responding very arrogantly, which I think is what's ticking people off more, his supporters, and coming out saying things like, well, I don't want you to support me. You know, just real childish behavior. I think we need, as a country, as a movement, to let it all go, because it's bigger fish to fry, you know? And that's forcing Trump to come out and act out. And, you know, this man got to stay focused. It's what's best for the country. You know, so we're going to chop it up and see, you know, he's saying like it's a Democratic talking point that, you know, the Republicans are starting to run with, which is false. You know what I'm saying? So Trump, knock it off with that. But let's hear him out. Let's hear him out, man. We're gonna let the president speak for himself. I don't want to put no words, put no words in his mouth, and I don't want to take none out. Let him speak for himself.
Mr. President, I know you want to move past all this intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your attorney general told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen?
No, it's not the attorney general. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher.
No, Trump, you ran on the campaign that you were going to expose not only the Epstein files, but the JFK and the MLK files. This wasn't the Democrats. Now, you can't put that on the Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Now, the Democrats now are saying, just like the Republicans, where is the list that you said you were going to expose? So don't do that, Trump. This ain't no throw it off on the Democrat situation. Now, you know how I feel about the Democrats, but this is not the Democrats doing. This was you and your administration, bro.
Christopher Wray and these characters, and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net. And so they try and do the Democrats' work. The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes. They're bad for policy. They're bad for picking candidates that can get elected. Like in New York, we have a communist running. He may get elected too, actually, but he's going to kill.
Now, Trump, this is why people are being upset, because they putting up clips of you saying that you're going to have the Epstein files. This would make you look bad right now, like your credibility is, you know what I'm saying, at jeopardy. I'm still rocking with you because I could care less about this situation, actually. But this is the perfect example you playing in people's face. You know what I'm saying? And people supposed to just run with it. If I care more about this situation, I'll probably be just like them. I just know it's bigger fish to fry. And instead of just saying, man, this was out of my control, because you think about it, Trump can't just come out and be like, man, I effed up. They gonna take that sound bite of him saying he effed up, and they gonna run with it for eternity, for the rest of his administration and forevermore. They gonna take Trump saying, man, I messed this up, and he just can't give he can't give them that sound bite, because actually, when you think about it, that will hurt him in the midterms. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be like, well, he admitted it. So this is politics at its finest being played right now. See, I know Trump, yeah, he transparent, but he's also a politician. So I'm not disillusioned by that. So he got to play these politics and play these goofy games, to not put himself in a position to look like he's not coming from a place of strength. He has to always be coming from a place of strength in the predicament that he's in the position that he's in. So I think that's why he's doing all this deflection. Just think about it. If he came out here and just gave them that, you would never hear the end of it.
He'll destroy the city. No, it's I call it the Epstein hoax. It takes a lot of time and effort. Instead of talking about the great achievements we've had, a great gentleman yesterday, as you know, went on CNBC and he made the statement that Trump may go down as the greatest president of all in the United States. And instead of talking about the things we've achieved, we've had tremendous achievement. They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. I'd rather talk about the success we have with the economy, the best we've ever had, and all of the things we've done, including in the Middle East. I mean, you see it. Instead,
now we got to give Trump that. Like, when he run down what he's done in 5 to 6 months since he's been sworn into office on the 20th of January. So, yeah, we're coming up on 6 months in a few days. It's remarkable. Turned the border all the way inside out. You know what I'm saying? The economy is skyrocketing. Gas prices are coming down. Grocery prices are coming down. Jobs are coming back. I mean, we're not going to feel the full effects, what he's implementing right now until maybe a year and a half, 2 years from now. But what he has been able to accomplish just with even in foreign policy is remarkable. People investing hundreds of billions of dollars into our economy. That wasn't happening in the last 4 years. So we got to give Trump his props and know that this man he got to be frustrated, because he put his life on the line. He didn't have to become the president. He didn't need to be, he don't even take a salary for this. He's doing what he's doing because he loves this country. I could respect that. And instead of just steady poking the bear about a mistake or hanging our hat on something that is probably politics with this Jeffrey Epstein situation, who knows? Maybe later on, he playing 4D chess, something we don't know that's in there. He probably waiting and delaying. It ain't no talent. It's a reason why this is going on with this Epstein list. I think it's at a point now, he's throwing a smoke signal saying, man, leave that alone. Let's move on. I trust Trump on what he's doing for the country. I think if it was any politician, I would be like, man, yeah. Well, if he said it, it ain't nothing there. It ain't nothing there. Nothing to see. What you did was you came out and you misspoke prematurely. What you should do is come out, hey, I apologize. You ain't got to come from a place of weakness to apologize. But for your supporters, that would be ideal. You just say, listen, I know that y'all really wanted this, and I apologize that my administration wasn't able to deliver on this. But no, it's not worth it. Whatever it is, hey, we'll put it out there. But for right now, we got way bigger fish to fry.
said they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. President, there's lots of reports coming into this meeting that you planned on firing Fed Chair Jay Powell. Markets
Is that right? Those are reports, but they're not true.
So what would be useful to know, are you committed to picking someone from the outside? Are you going to interview individuals that are
So
on the
many
board
people
right
that
now?
want that job. I have people that I've known a long time. They're calling me, begging for the job. You know what you need there? A smart person with common sense, but you need a very smart person for that job. I think it's one of the easiest jobs in government. You show up once a month and you make a statement about where the economy's going, and we're going to raise or lower interest rates. It's probably the easiest job I've ever seen. That's why I'm trying to figure out, why does he want to expand and add more people? He's going to add more economists to tell him what to do. But the economists, I was right. All the economists were wrong. They admitted it. They admitted it this morning. Quiet. Go ahead.
Mr. President, you mentioned fraud in an earlier answer. Are you saying you want to investigate the Fed chair for fraud related to this renovation?
Well, I think he's already under investigation. He spent far more money than he was supposed to on rebuilding. I didn't see him as being the kind of guy that would want to have parks, rooftop parks and everything else on top of buildings. But who wants to spend that money for the Fed? The Fed is supposed to sit there and say where interest rates are going and a couple of other very easy things to do. And he spent $2.5 billion. I think he's got some problems.
Thank you, sir. You also reported a monthly surplus in the month of June, $27 billion. A ton of money. With these new tariff rates coming into effect on August 1st, we're going to be bringing in even more tariff revenue specifically. How much revenue do you think we can consistently bring in from these tariffs? And how big of a game changer is this, not only for the economy, but also fiscal responsibility?
Well, we're going to be bringing in, already we've brought in over $100 billion.
I mean, see what this man dealing with, man. I mean, they going off to some other things, so we can stop that right there, man, But that's just display the type of, stuff he's dealing with, man, with these tariffs, trade war. You really think that man thinking about a Epstein's list that really ain't got no meat on the bone? All right, he made a mistake. He spoke too much. He frustrated. He calling his supporters stupid. He ain't right for that, But at the end of the day, when you really think about it and what's at stake, it is kind of stupid. It is kind of stupid, man. We ain't got time to pander about Jeffrey Epstein. And I understand it's about the corrupt politicians and other worldly leaders that may have been implicated that are possible lawmakers and this, that, and the third. But think about it. If something like that, of that magnitude, actually existed, wouldn't Donald Trump have access to that information when he was the president the first term? I wasn't talking about it back then. That's what made me think this is some type of political theater, right? Trump is somebody that moved 10 steps, 15 steps ahead. He probably playing 4-5D chess with everybody. Got to throw everybody off and recollect everything. You know what I'm saying? Because it don't make no sense. It just don't make no sense to sit here and worry about something that you can't do nothing about. You know what I'm saying? You just can't do nothing about it. And Pam Bondi, she just doing her job. People coming down to her saying she should be all this old stuff with Cash Patel and Dan Bongini was supposed to leave, but they still there. What was that about? They said, man, if Pam Bondi don't lead, Dan Bongini gonna, whatever his name is, gonna lead, and Cash Patel gonna lead. But everybody's still here. And all Pam Bondi doing is what the president is telling her to do.
But first, breaking tonight, President Trump says his attorney general should release whatever documents she thinks are credible concerning the late businessman and convicted sexual predator, Jeffrey Epstein. It's his latest comment in the ongoing controversy that has split many of the president's supporters. Meanwhile, there is new pressure tonight on Attorney General Pam Bondi from an unlikely spot, the top Republican in the House, the Speaker. Correspondent David Spahn has the story for us tonight. Good evening, David. I mean, this story does not go away here.
It's really not right now, at least, Brett. And Attorney General Pam Bondi is breaking her silence on this Epstein matter following a week of intense blowback from the MAGA base. She says, though, she's staying put despite calls for her to go.
I'm going to be here for as long as the president wants me here, and I believe he's made that crystal clear. It's 4 years, well, 3.5 now, right? On anything else?
Bondi, at an unrelated event on fentanyl today, declined to expand on the reported fracture in a relationship with Deputy FBI Director Dan Bungie.
This lady sitting up there meeting with people talking about getting fentanyl out of our country. They signed a bill today about that. I think we all got family members that have been affected by a fentanyl overdose, allegedly. And if not one, at least. This is the type of stuff that's on these people's hands. We had over 20 million people come across our borders unvetted with deadly diseases, all type of deadly drugs. It was all type of what they don't talk about with illegal immigration is human trafficking of children and ex-trafficking of children. I mean, they just popped. I seen somewhere where they just busted. They had a marijuana field full of children working there that were illegal, the children of illegal immigrants. Just all type of human trafficking going on. That's what these people need to be focused on. This Epstein list, they did it to themselves. I understand it. They talking greasy. I understand it. But it is time to let it go. Don't get too caught off in the weeds. It's time to get back focused on what we need to do. We need to still got people we need to wake up.
Bongino, who threatened last week to quit over the DOJ's closure of the Epstein case with a 2-page memo.
I'm not going to discuss personnel matters. I think we all are committed to working together now to make America safe again, and that's what we're doing.
House Speaker Mike Johnson pushing Bondi to do a little bit more, though. Watch.
She needs to come forward and explain that to everybody. I like Pam. I mean, I think she's done a good job. We need the DOJ focusing on the major priorities. So let's get this thing resolved.
Well, today,
see, people split, you know, and I rocks with Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. It'll be nice if she comes with more information, but if she don't, what difference is it gonna make in your life? You know, I did 3 breakdowns to the big beautiful bill that just passed. You could go through the catalog, check them out. Great information, but we have been so distracted by this Jeffrey Epstein thing. People ain't even talking about the bill that just passed. They still running around with false narratives when we need to be pushing that information out. Those videos should have hundreds to thousands of views, educating people, sharing it. Look, this is what the misconception is. We clearing up all the lies, debunking the lies about the bill that just passed. That's what's going to affect your life, not Jeffrey Epstein. It's time to move on. Trump is not perfect. He never will be. Pam Bondi ain't perfect. She never will be. The Republican Party will never be perfect. MAGA, nobody. But this is the best shot we got at fixing the dismantlement of this country. Is this administration right here to get it back on track, back to where we making a livable wage. Most people being able to, go back on vacation with their children or be able to afford and have, like the beginning of this video, a sense of God in our government. putting God back in school for the children. These are the things that we want implemented so these kids will have some type of understanding of a force that's greater than them. You know, put the fear of God back in these schools so these children won't be so quick to crash out. You know, that's what we need to be doing. Making sure a man is a man and a woman is a woman. If you with that, hey, you can be whatever you want to be, but as long as we clear, it's a man and a woman is a woman. I'm with that. Let's get back to that.
Today, President Trump, who's been tamping down the Epstein story and endorsing Pam Bondi, gave her some new latitude.
The Attorney General's handled that very well. She's really done a very good job. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release.
However, Jeffrey Epstein's former lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, says it may not be up to Bondi.
Many of the things that are being suppressed by two judges in Manhattan, and they're doing it largely to protect the alleged accusers who are, in the view of the judges, victims. Pam Bondi and the Justice Department and Donald Trump are not responsible for that.
Part of the reason Ghislaine Maxwell, former girlfriend and associate to Jeffrey Epstein, is appealing her conviction to the U.S. Supreme Court. But Brett, the DOJ is asking the Supreme Court to deny Maxwell's review of the case and leave her in prison where she's serving a 20-year sentence.
Now, Ghislaine Maxwell was there. If y'all want to know who was at the island, go let her testify before Congress. She was there. You don't need no list. She is the walking embodiment of the list. She can tell you everybody that was there. Why they not interviewing her? If everybody's so concerned with the list, this who you need to talk to, Ghislaine Maxwell. But they got her in prison on lock and key. It's easy. Let her do an interview. Let her be questioned by Congress live so all of the rest of the world can hear who was there. But for some strange reason, I highly doubt that's going to happen. And you wonder why.
For conspiring with Epstein in his abuse of underage girls. Right.
But what's interesting is if Dershowitz is right, and it seems like he is pretty knowledgeable on this and has been a part of some of these cases, you wonder why the Attorney General is not saying all of that publicly, or the communication strategy here.
It's something that Dershowitz, yes, says it's up to two different judges. President Trump today, for the first time, we've heard him say that she has some more latitude to give out some more information. So we're going to see if she does provide some more information.
We'll track it all here. David, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here.
All right. Good stuff, man. You know, this is good to dialogue about because, man, we had it into a great 4 years, man. And I hate to see this come and throw everybody off, you know, for something that quite naturally it's out of our control, man. These people that's big wigs in them higher places, if they implicated in this, hey, some phone calls may have been made, and hey, we just don't never know. And at this point, I don't want to know. I just want to know where the money at. Let me get to it bag. Secure the border. You know what I'm saying? Make sure these streets of America are as safe as possible. Make sure our foreign policies are great. You know what I'm saying? Continue to do great things, man. We need to stand behind the president. He need all the support he can get. Yeah, man, we gave him a whole week full of criticism. When are we going to let it go? You know what I'm saying? The man he said what he said. It just is what it is. You know? And like I said, man, we got people out here that still they don't even understand the difference of what's going on between the Democratic Party. I ain't saying you got to be a Republican, but at this point, man, you got to be insane to say you a Democrat. You know? And I'm gonna show you why, man. Shout out to the content creator, Anton Daniels. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite blogs on here. But check this out, man. This gets interesting, man. But I love to see people wake up like this, man. And this is why we need to get back on track. Because we need to have more conversations like this. We need more people to wake up others instead of worry about some dang on Jeffrey Epstein.
I believe for the rest of my life, I'll be doing the Lord's work. I'm going to make sure no black person is a Democrat ever again. I hope you got enough common sense and critical thinking to understand what's going on right now. I'm about to give you all the facts. Every day I think I'm going to come on here and tell you what these clowns have done to you. Can you just notice that they never got a solution for you and they always calling you a victim? That's number one. You always need Medicaid. You always need food stamps. You always need government assistance. Why? Why you can't need a job? Why you can't need an education? Why you can't need a better job? Why you can't need a house? Why you can't need a better car? Why you can't need better things than motherfucking government assistance? Lyndon Johnson said he gonna have these niggas voting for Democrats for the next 200 years because that's how goofy you is. They filibustered the Civil Rights Act. It was the last record they had in Congress. They took men out of your homes. They would rather them be homosexual than to be a man in a home raising a family. Do y'all not see this? They claim to be Christians, but do everything against God. Are y'all Christians? I do not understand what's happening. Do you believe God's word or do you make it fit to your lifestyle? I do not understand what's going on. Was the dashikis not enough? When they walk their ass out there with dashikis on and your ass ain't never been to Africa. But they thought the dashiki was unity for you. They play in your damn face. They play in your face and you let them do it. You let them work up your emotions. You let them build fear. What happened to us being slaves now? We supposed to be slaves 6 months into the Trump presidency and all locked up in concentration camps. These niggas.
Yeah, that's true. And they are playing in your face. I remember when Nancy Pelosi, during the George Floyd situation, and they put on the kente cloths, and she went into the African American Museum, and then she went and kneeled, and then all of y'all actually thought that was some kind of consolation for whatever it is, and justifying align yourself with the Democrat Party. Yo, they are basically exchanging your votes, your money, your taxes, your life force, your energy, your homes, your children, your sexuality, your political preferences, and they're taking it and they're exchanging it in order to continue to keep you oppressed because they're making you dependent on the system. And I tell people, and every day I have to remind people the difference between being a Republican and being a Democrat is that being a Democrat is that you want to usually tie yourself to a system because you become dependent on it in order for you to survive. At least that's what they want you to think. Being a Republican is basically removing government so that you can do what you want to do, whether it be with your taxes, whether it be with your money, even your sexuality. But it's not continuing to plant things into you so that you think a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? And so what we've basically seen over our entire lifetime, for most of us that's here, for our entire lifetime, what people have basically done is indoctrinated you to think a certain way so that you tie yourself to a party and think about it. Just put it in perspective. As I seen a young guy today on an application, and he was basically pissed election or something like that, right? And he's a very popular person on that particular application. And I found it to be very, very ironic because he didn't really have a talking point to stand on when it came to whether or not the policies worked in the favor of black people. And he just so happened to be a black guy, very young guy. And it kind of bothers me a little bit because it's like, yo, you can't see the play. Do you not see that when people get older, more people as they age and become wiser in life switch over to being conservative than conservatives switching over to being Democrats? You don't hear of people that are conservative switching over to being Democrats. I hear people getting bullied that don't have the information or is not as informed as other people having to vote a certain type of way. I know that in the black community specifically, like even when I was coming up, we was told that we vote Democrat just because that's what black people do.
Exactly. Identity politics. And we can leave that right there. We got to get out of that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what we got to start to continue to educate our people, man, and put out the right narrative. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger fish to fry. We got more people to wake up. Yeah, man. This whole thing with this Epstein list, it's time to let it go. It's just time to let it go. I mean, how long we gonna criticize the administration for one fumble when we got so many other issues to address? You know, I understand the frustration. I understand the Trump administration having this arrogance about the situation, but that's politics at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And the worst thing we can do is let that divide. So we can't afford to have the Democratic Party get back in power when it comes to midterms. We got to get back on the ball. You know what I'm saying? And show a sign of force and unity. Well, hey, what say you? Drop it in the comment section. Hope you enjoyed this video. It's your boy Jay Taylor. We love y'all. Until next time, we should see you soon. Peace and blessings.